So at least 3 or 4 people said to me, yeah, when are you going to bring the walkabout videos back? You know, the Let's Walk FPL, the ones where you go around the parks and stuff. 3 or 4 people said that. So as far as I'm concerned, this is back by popular demand. Game week 1, of course. I have to start with Fest. We were at Fest on Friday night for the first game. And it was the biggest and best Fest we've ever done, I think. Brand new venue. We had the football, the internet. Yeah, crazy, isn't it? So yeah, very successful fest. Look that up. I might do a Christmas event, but also look it up next season. If you haven't been to a festival, make sure you come. It's a great event. Right, the matches. Friday, we were there watching Man United Fulham, and I've got to say, as a non-Bruno owner, and he was quite popular. He ended up in a lot of teams right in the final few days. Saw some captains as well, and I was very fortunate to escape without him getting a haul, to be honest, and an early setback. 6 shots, still the most in the game week. 1.22 XGI, still the most in the game week. Leno kept him out, really 2 big chances. In the forced 9, but I don't think that's going to continue because, of course, Zerkey came off the bench, got the winner, and I think he'll start in game week 2 at Brighton. Elsewhere, Garnacho didn't start the game, came on for Diallo. I think Diallo got an hour, or Ahmad. I think Garnacho gets that shirt long term though, with Rashford on the other flank. And Garnacho got the assist, missed a massive big chance as well at the end, which got another big roar at Fest. So Garnacho owners as well as Bruno owners are really unfortunate. And then elsewhere for United, it's mainly the defence that interested me. Mazraoui, I had to look that up of course, can't pronounce that out of the book. Mazraoui came in 4-5, played right back, and Darlow moved to the left, which I didn't expect. He obviously crept in very late in FPL pricing and didn't expect him to start the game, but he was impressive. He topped for baseline bonus for Man United, got 2 bonus points eventually, and United kept them to 0.44 XG, which is the lowest in the game week other than Southampton, who played 10 men. So the United defence, obviously really early, might be worth a look. And Mazraoui could be a very handy 4-5 option, and we'll see why that could be handy in a minute. As for Fulham, Smith Rowe kept very quiet, only got the hour, 63 minutes I think he was subbed on. No shots, I don't think a chance created either, but I'm not worried about it as a Smith Rowe owner. You shouldn't be, because they've got amazing fixtures to come from now on, right up to game week 12. And him, Robinson and Muniz, although quiet at Old Trafford, Robinson was high. Those 3 though are going to be very handy owns from this point on. Ipswich Liverpool then, I was worried at half time, as was Slot I think, because Ipswich started so positively, so aggressive, really pressing high in their face, and Liverpool just stalled out the blocks. They just didn't get anything flowing at all. Slot changed it at half time, made 1 change, and it was a key change for me. Quansah went off, eventually obviously missed out on the clean sheet. He brought Canate on, and he singled Joel Quansah out in his post-match and said that Liverpool weren't winning enough duels, but singled out Quansah. And he did struggle with Delap. We had 1 period on the flank where Delap outpaced him, outmuscled him. And I see it, I think it was harsh on Quansah. And now it's like, do we sell him? I think the market is very slow. It doesn't look like he's going to go down in price ahead of the game week 2 deadline, but we've got to keep an eye on that. And he's a problem now. Yeah, I mean, I can play Robinson, but if you haven't got Robinson, that's the move. 4-5 to another 4-5. Maybe Anderson. Maybe Mazraoui, as I said, who could be a good option, although the fixture next time out at Brighton is tricky. Elsewhere for Liverpool, although that was a big factor coming out of the game, Salah and Jota delivered a call. 0.85 XGI for Salah, 0.99 for Jota. And they just came alive in that second half. And it was Trent who was the protagonist for me. 1.06 XGI, helped set up the goal with that delicious pass for Salah into the channel. Set up an incredible big chance for Jota that he put wide, but Trent just came alive second half, and that perhaps was Konate's presence in defence allowed him to get forward more. And yeah, Liverpool, no real fears going into the Brentford home game, owning Salah and captaining Salah, even with Haaland at Ipswich. The other player who stood out, I guess, is Szoboszlai, was in that 10 role on the right-hand side, but didn't really hamper Salah getting into the box and getting chances. So no fears there, I don't think, but Szoboszlai could be a 6-5 option worth looking at. As for Ipswich, I guess it was Hutchinson and Greaves who were the standouts. Greaves, a 4 million defender, had a chance from a set piece. Hutchinson very lively in the pocket. Another 5-5 option. But they'll have easier games, obviously. Not next week though, because game week 2, of course, they go to the Etihad. But it's a wait and see for Ipswich, I think. Arsenal Wolves, I mean, it went according to the script, didn't it? Really routine victory for Arsenal in the end. Saka, again, like Salah, one of the big assets returning. If you don't have Saka, the numbers are pretty frightening. 5 shots, 5 chances created, 0.73 XGI. Looked the real deal for Arsenal, just as we expected. Havertz got his goal as well and got the 90 minutes, which is really interesting. And although his average position was deeper, he had 10 penalty area touches, the most of any player so far. And he had, like I say, he got the 90, as did Martinelli, a 7 million midfielder. That's probably worth watching too. Trossard did come off the bench, but came off to replace Saka with 10 minutes to go. So not the changes we expect from Arteta. And maybe that means that Martinelli could be an option and Havertz could be the Arsenal asset to go to if you can't stretch to Saka. But as I said, with those numbers, I think you've got to stretch to Saka, I think, because he just started the season, no fatigue signs at all. Defensively, kept a clean sheet, just as we expected. Yeah, you could have written that script, really. Another terrible start for Everton at home. I think they've lost at home in the last 3 seasons now. Yeah, Brighton just absolutely too good for them. I kind of expected that, but perhaps not by that 3-0 margin. João Pedro did okay, hit the post, but 0.05 XGI. Didn't show up too much other than that. But encouraging, I mean, in that Brighton team, if they're going to score goals, he's going to prosper, of course. Minte, the standout, or Minter. And also Matoma, so the 2 wide men really the standout players for Brighton, who really just terrorised Everton all day, and in the end Young got sent off. I think as and I said, how is Young going to handle Matoma? And he didn't. He got the red card, of course, which does give them problems. I mean, at right back they've only got Holgate now, I think, so they're going to go to Spurs and it'll be Holgate versus Son. That could change my plan about selling Son. Yeah, Everton dismal. Pickford just had no chance for any of the goals really. And Brighton impressive, and United at home next. Barco's admission, of course, is the big headline, I guess, from this game. He was a much fancied 4 million defender. Oh, as you did go in hard on him. But yeah, on the bench. Now, we don't know what's happened there, but what we do know, it could be an injury, but he played a lot pre-season. He looked really prominent. Was on set pieces for them as well. And then Hinshelwood comes in game week 1. Now, the worry is, even if there is a little bit of a knock or fatigue, you've got Hinshelwood, you've got Stupinan, you could have a new signing coming in. I think that, yeah, if you've got Barco, because of his ownership, I think he could go down quite quickly. So that is a concern in the 4 million bracket. I'll be looking to ship him out. Maybe to Harwood Bellis, who was prominent in the Southampton performance at Newcastle that was, you know, very impressive. The numbers were really strong. Armstrong, 0.79 XGI, 5 shots. Looked very lively indeed, but again the game was skewed by the Sharks ending off, of course. Newcastle, I think, had 3 shots in the whole game. Won it with an Isak assist to Joe Linton. I don't think we can take too much from the game. Other than Southampton, perhaps we're underestimating them. And as I say, Armstrong and maybe Smallbone were the standouts, and it's Forest at home next. As a Forest fan, I was worried by what I saw from Southampton, put it that way. As for Newcastle, can't take anything from it. I captained Isak, got an assist, should have captained Salah, but it's one of those things, the sending off really did just change that game and change the output. So I was at the Forest game, of course, and I saw Wood get his goal, a return for those who who went with him, and I mean I see the merits of it. He only had that one shot in the entire game, so chances and creating chances is going to be the issue, or good chances for Forest. I think he keeps his place for the next two, Southampton and Wolves, but then after that, Awani, who did come off the bench and replace Wood, I think he will start to get starts from game week 4 onwards, so just be wary of that. Gibbs White and Hudson-Odoi were impressive enough, looked sharp, 3 chances created each, but as I said, Forest really did struggle to create gilt-edged chances where they can score goals from. Bournemouth the same, really. They've got a new striker coming in, Evan Nilsson, I think it is. Big money signing, not in FPL yet. And I think we can't judge Bournemouth till we see him settled in. Their standout, I guess, was Semenyo, 5.5 midfielder, had 5 shots on the day, but generally they looked toothless without an out-and-out striker. So I don't think we can take too much from this game. And it's the same really for the West Ham Villa game, the last game of Saturday. Watkins started, got an hour, was kept quiet, didn't even have a shot. And Bowen the same for West Ham. Didn't have a shot or a chance created, I don't think, so was kept very quiet. So while Saka and Salah at the top tier really delivered, you know, some of the other players, Watkins and Bowen in particular, just were kept very quiet on Saturday's matches. Rodgers, I guess, is the talking point. He started the game as expected, centrally rather than left, playing just behind Watkins. And I would say I saw enough to think that, yeah, he's the 5 million to go for, or the player in the 5 million, 5-5 bracket to go for. Could his place be under threat? Duran came off the bench and scored the goal, but I just think that Rodgers gives Emery that link player, that player that can link midfield and attack, whereas I think Duran's an out-and-out striker. So I think Rodgers is definitely worth a look for Villa's really strong fixtures to come if you haven't got him already. And Bailey was the other real player that stood out for Villa. I love Bailey and I thought he had a really good game. I think there's 2 shots and 3 chances created. So if you can't get to Watkins, if you don't want to get to Rodgers, Bailey for Villa's fixtures looks very nice indeed. Right, I've got to go because I've got to get to London to see PJ Harvey in concert, which is very nice. Taking my partner to that. Missing the missing the Brentford Palace game and missing Chelsea Man City. Quite pleased about that, to be honest, because as a non-Haaland owner, not sure I want to watch that. Obviously, I run the risk of, if Haaland goes mad at Stamford Bridge, I run the risk of my mood being killed while I'm out with my partner. Could be an issue. How do you do it, Mark? How do you manage a relationship while being obsessed with FPL? Well, my tip is, and what I do, is I'm just miserable all the time, and then she never detects a drop in my mood. Join me tomorrow for more crucial tips like that. Tuesday evening, couldn't record on Monday because of the weather, so the game week is now over. And I got through Sunday without Haaland at the gig, of course, and didn't have a signal, so that wasn't too painful because I couldn't see the damage until after the match. But as it turned out, Haaland just the 1 goal, and I'll take that, to be honest. Chelsea kept him relatively quiet. Just 4 touches in the box, 17 overall, a couple of shots on goal. It would have been awful to watch without owning him, I know that. And I know what's coming in Ipswich game week 2. But not too bad, 7-point return for Haaland. And overall, City got the job done, didn't they? Chelsea didn't look too bad. I thought they'd be more resolute in this game than they have been in pre-season. And so it proved. They kept City at arm's length for most of the match. Elsewhere for City, Savio did look good, wide right, but got replaced in the end by Foden at half-time. And you've got to think Foden starts game week 2, don't you really? I mean, more on that in a bit when it comes to my dilemmas. As for Chelsea, Palmer was kept quiet, some nice touches. I mean, he's Palmer, right? He's going to come good. And I think from this game week onwards, game week 2, the fixtures get a lot better for Chelsea. And he may be a factor. Wasn't a factor in many game week 1 lineups, but there's no doubt a player of his quality with penalties is going to come into our seasons. It's just whether we need more time to look at Maresca's Chelsea. And I think we do, because Nkunku really sums it up. He is a dilemma for those who went with him game week 1, because he was subbed before the hour mark, and it's just the number of options that Maresca's got. I mean, Nkunku was played out wide left, it appeared, and I don't know. I mean, out there's just so many, as I said, so many options there. Dewsbury Hall is there as well. Are they going to play Lavia and Caicedo and Fernandes and Enzo rather in the same team every week, or is that just a team for City? We don't know yet, and because of the options available, that Chelsea lineup is so hard to predict. And overnight they were looking at getting Felix in, with Gallagher going the other way to Atletico. So I don't know, so many question marks over Chelsea and Nkunku. I don't want to go there as yet. But yeah, as for City, I don't know. I do want to look at an asset going into Ipswich. I do want to look at getting at least one of their players. If it's not Foden, maybe it's going to have to be Lewis. So Brentford got the win in Sunday's other game, 2-1. Mbeumo the standout, I guess, and the omission of Tony from Brentford's lineup means Mbeumo's going to get penalties, makes him more attractive. 7 million option. No doubt he's going to come into our thinking. Maybe Nkunku owners can look at him. From game week 6, Brentford's fixtures look good. Yeah, and like Palmer, he's going to be a factor. He's too much of a good player, too much of a good fancy asset to stay out of our thinking for too long. But I don't think we're moving to him just yet. I don't see Tony getting back in that Brentford side. He's going to be off. I mean, the fact he was omitted means he's an absolute no-go. So he's being sold in droves. I think that was a bad move if you went for him game week 1. Elsewhere for Brentford, yeah, I mean, it was a hard fixture to call. I went 1-1, 2-1. I'm not surprised by the outcome. Bit disappointing from Palace, but Eze owners, wow. 7 shots and, of course, denied that wonder goal from the free kick. Really, really unfortunate. Again, glad as a non-Eze owner I didn't get to watch that match firsthand. But yeah, I mean, I think Palace are going to be those sides that they're going to take time to settle down without Elise. Marteta back, didn't play the full game, but when he's back to full fitness and they've got their pattern of play without Elise, Palace will be a factor as well. And no doubt Eze, with the numbers he put up there, yeah, like Mbeumo, has to come into our thinking. Finally on to Monday night's game and Spurs and Leicester. I mean, I went into that with Porro, Son and Solanke. How I came out of it with just a Porro goal, I have no idea. Spurs should have been runaway winners. They were absolutely dominant. But Leicester got the point, and Vardy with the game week 1 goal again. Only Salah, I think, has scored more game week 1 goals than him. And it was a Cooper performance from Leicester. Low block, took their chance on the break, and then looked the most likely winners as it ran out. But yeah, Spurs in that first half should have got more than the 1 goal they got. Porro the standout, 4 chances created. Solanke was okay, 3 shots, looked lively enough. I'm happy to hold on to him. Son though, very disappointing. My strategy was take Son into this game week, move him out game week 2 to Foden. But I've got a dilemma now because Quansah looks like going down in price tonight. So I said just 24 hours ago on this video, he looked like he wasn't going to go down in the game week. Now, with lots more sales, the pricing models are showing him perhaps dropping tonight. So I've got to decide whether I move off the 4-5 defender and go to maybe someone like Lewis and get some skin in the game at least for that City game with Rico Lewis. But is he likely to start? Walker was on the bench. I don't know, that's a risk to me. I'm moving from one risk to another. Or do I leave Quansah where he is, hope that he breaks back into the Liverpool team and stick to my plan, go Son to Foden? Can I go into the Match of the Day challenge on Saturday without Haaland and without a City player? It's going to be awful because that Match of the Day challenge has Forest playing Southampton. I won't know the score there. So I'll have the agony of watching that. And then I'll have the agony of watching Man City against Ipswich without a City player. I just don't know if I can do that. So I've got to decide tonight what to do there. I'm torn between keeping Quansah and taking the drop and moving Son to Foden, or making the more sensible move, which is to just lock the money in and get Quansah out. I've got Quansah and I've got Robinson to cover in defence. So with the Porro injury, it might be that I have to play Quansah against Arsenal. Then I'm okay. I've got a back 3 all the way through to about game week 8 or 9. And by that point, Quansah could have worked his way back into the lineup. So I'm leaning towards sticking to the plan and going Son to Foden, and at least having Foden for that Match of the Day challenge. You're going to have to tune in for that to watch that, because that's going to be a cracker for many, many reasons, I'm sure. Probably for the agony that I'm going to go through. So join us for that, but in shorter than that, we're doing BlackBox on Thursday, me and Az. So look out for that Thursday evening, where we're looking to the Quansah dilemma a bit more. I may well have had to been forced into my transfer by then, we'll have to see. But elsewhere, we're going to be spending, 5 minutes on the trouble I got people into with Quansah, and about 55 minutes to an hour maybe on Barco and the debacle that Az got you into. Yeah, I know. Don't worry, I'll make him explain to him. That's all how that happened. Join us on Thursday for BlackBox. Join us on Saturday for Match of the Day Challenge. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video. Thank you very much. See you next time.